hello, hello.
Okay.
收没到的头。
So let's get it. Yes. Yay, let's get it. And we will have a talk of our go-to-market strategy by lovely John here. And yeah, that's everyone. You can move forward. If you think you're too shy to move forward, you are allowed to hide in the back. And yeah, I think we're all here. We're all here. Yeah, nobody's in the rage room right now, right? There's 3 rage rooms, and everyone wants to hide inside of it.
Oh, to sleep?
Yeah, to hide. Okay, so the stage is yours,
Okay.
and everybody, let's welcome John.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name's John Scianna. I'm a partner at Web3.com, and I've been in the crypto space for over a decade, about 12 years now, and I've taken quite a few products to market. So I would say like most notably is Quantum. It was, back in 2017, it was one of the largest ICOs at the time, and it started off the ICO boom, and it reached top 10. Of all the cryptos. And then also Nifties.com, which is an NFT platform. And I would say had like probably at its peak, like over 300,000 users. Probably, the most, well-known NFT site, especially for mainstream users. All right, so if you're gonna go to market, you should always have some goals. And I made this based off like Pump.Fun, because I don't know if you're following the meta, but they just released the streaming and creator coins. So I try to make it relevant to today and not just vague and But we could also try to, put in the perspective of your own business. So what do you think their goals are? Of course, they want to increase the users, but they have multiple goals. They really want to attract streamers because the streamers will attract users, and a portion of those users will also be traders. And then they also have their marketing goal, which is to be the go-to platform for streamers. And they want to communicate this by, encouraging streamers to see their platform as the best platform to stream. And so if you're going to have goals, how do you measure against your goals? You need to have some key KPIs or key performance indicators. For this, it's pretty straightforward. You know how many people are streaming, you know how many users, and you know how many traders because you all have their wallets. Yeah? Okay, so anyone want to have some goals for their startup and for their go-to-market? For you guys, it would be deployments, right? Anyone else? This one's easy. No? Okay.
Mostly it's more the users.
Yeah.
You get to have the performance indicator for your application based on the users, your metrics.
Yeah, so you might want to know the amount of users and then also the deployments because you could see the drop off. So if it's also like, okay, we have a lot of deployments, but we look at the amount of users. It's actually only 10% of the users deploying, and then you're kind of like where you started, where only 10% of users are deploying. So it's good to have multiple. And we'll get later into this, but I'll show you it's kind of like a marketing funnel. So go to market is very marketing heavy. This is where my background is. I led growth at Quantum, also at Nifty's, and I got my degree in marketing. So you want to have this market overview. For Pump.Fun, and I'm sure a lot of you noticed, but ever since COVID, when people were more at home, they started streaming. And now, actually, when you ask kids today, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? They don't say astronaut. They say, I want to be an influencer. So this influencer culture has taken over everywhere. I mean, even like, I want my baby to be an influencer, because I think it's probably easy, and then they get free stuff, free travel, all these cute clothes. But it seems like everybody wants to be an influencer nowadays. And it's becoming more and more competitive in the, trying to get influencers. So X, they introduced creator payouts, which was huge, because you're creating all this content, but are you getting anything for it? Threads came out and they tried to like take away people from Twitter. But I think, with the payouts, it encouraged a lot of people to stay on the platform, invest in themselves, and into their like audience. And they probably also noticed for Pump.Fun that, the amount of launch pads has become increasingly competitive. There's hundreds of launch pads, each with their own little niche. So how do you expand your business? So go-to-market isn't just like you're going to market one time. For every product that you have and launch, you have to go to market for that product. So you'll have to do all these steps. You'll have different KPIs for each product you launch. So it's something that you should get familiar with. And it's really important for me, I'm an investor now. I want to know how you're thinking about going to market. Have you analyzed the whole market? How do you view your competitors? So for Pump.Fun, of course, they're competing in the Launchpad, but that has nothing to do with their streaming platform. So their competitors for this product are actually like Twitch and Kick. So how would they stand up to them? Of course, like everybody's getting paid, but I think it depends how they're getting paid. So with these creator fees that Pump.Fun is giving them, you get it instantly. So it's pretty crazy, and it's like flipping the model on its head. You want to be invested in a streamer, like, oh yeah, I was following Speed from day one. All right, prove it. Like, what do you get from being one of those initial promoters of that influencer? So do you get anything of like sharing that with your friends? No. So I think now, and it's always been like the case, but like referral marketing is a big engine in like how things spread. It's word of mouth. So how do you tap into that? Like, how do you get people, like just users, to be your salespeople? And when you tie a token to it, you kind of like juice the metrics, and it speeds things up. How is like Pump.Fun, competing? So of course, it's these creator fees. But what would happen if Twitch or Kick entered, the market and have their own token for all their creators? Would they do as well? Probably not, because of course they have this huge audience, but they're not crypto aligned. They're not crypto native, where Pump.Fun users are. So they have this whole education process. So if Kick or Twitch were to introduce this, I mean, so many rugs, and big rugs, and it would destroy their brand, because it's just not known to them. Like, every kind of crypto user is always a little skeptical, like, I'm gonna get rugged. So for them, they'll probably have this big PR backlash, and because they're so huge already, probably get investigated, by numerous departments. And if they launched it, it's like a big problem in every jurisdiction, because they're so well known. Like, they have, millions of users and streamers. Pretty big difference. And you have to use, if you already have a product, you have to use your user base as your advantage. So I would say, this is pretty important. So for Nifty's, we were more focused on kind of like the mass media. So we launched with Space Jam, The Matrix. So we were targeting a different user. At least that's what we thought, okay? So we're going to target people who just like movies, and maybe they're not really crypto users. So we built this product, and we made it so like they wouldn't need to create a wallet. We do it with their email. Like the costs are like kind of night and day from traditional NFTs where it's like a few ETH to a few dollars. And then like at that time there was a lot of talk about like, oh, NFTs are destroying the planet. So we made sure like everything was like green. But yeah, you should actually know your target audience. Sometimes you go in with an idea and then you launch and it turns out your audience is completely different than what you suspected. And you have multiple audiences. So you should build what's called a user persona. So you want to know who you're targeting. Like who are they? Like what are their needs? Like for us it was like collectors, but for Pump.Fun it's what they want people to like invest money and be able to like earn money through streaming. Because if you're a small creator on Twitch or Kick, you're not making anything. And then how are you gonna talk to them? So like where does that user actually live? Because that's where you have to meet them. So the user persona, it's different for everything, but you should like have a kind of like a lot of demographics about them. So like they're this age, they live in the US, and try to get as much information as you can because that makes it easier to target them. So for us and NFTs, we targeted users based on like, okay, they like media, they like Space Jam. So we went to like, instead of CoinDesk, we went to like the like Variety magazine and Deadline, where it's a lot of news about movies. And that like is what helped explode because of course all these people saw and read about it, but then also crypto people who are just at NFTs, like they liked it too, and they say, oh yeah, these guys are actually targeting a different audience. Maybe like it's more appealing to a broader audience instead of like this narrow crypto market. So when you know who your user is, that's how you talk to them. So the way you talk to like a crypto bro is different than you talk to like some mom or dad who's taking their kids to the movies. So and you have to know like what message you're telling them, because some people, they are like, all right, for Pump.Fun, instant token creation, that might be meaningful, but instant creator fees is probably more meaningful for some users, where for other users, they don't like being censored. Because how often do you hear about like, oh, this this streamer got like banned for streaming because they did something, right? They don't like that. Like you don't have control over your own platform, and you get deplatformed. It's like a huge thing nowadays where users get deplatformed, and you lose your whole audience. You could have been spending years investing in an audience on a specific channel, and overnight it's just taken away from you. I mean, that's why a lot of people get into crypto, because they're deplatformed, they're debanked, and crypto can help solve this. So for Pump.Fun, the original kind of messaging is where memes meet markets, and then I made this one like where streams meet markets. And here, this is the marketing funnel. So not only do you talk to like different users differently, but you talk to them differently depending where they are in the funnel. So this is kind of like broad. This is kind of like, the press. You want to have like a broader message, and then, okay, so they're aware of you now. But then, all right, so okay, I'm aware of Pump.Fun streaming, but do I want to switch? I'll move down the funnel. They start looking for different products, and like this less censorship. Maybe you have an article about that. Or you have like this earn more creator fees. That is, once they consider that, then they convert. And then once they're users, they'll be loyal because they came for those specific, these unique selling points. So of course, you should always have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. So yeah, where are you going to message them? So for Pump.Fun, it's easy because a lot of their users are on X. Of course, they're already using their main platform. So how do you message them on X? I mean, if you watch or use X, you see like a lot of clips. So they made it super easy to just like clip content from the stream. So you just clip it, and then it makes like a little video for you, and kind of takes all the work out, and then you could just share these highlights. So they want to share that like interesting ideas are being spread on the Pump.Fun streams. And that's how you get more users. But for creators, how do you attract more creators? It could also be on X, but they want to show how much of the creator fees are people getting. So people are sharing their creator fees like, hey, on YouTube I make this per month. I made that in 2 hours. It's a huge difference. The different users, like you have to know where they live. So that's the big part of the persona. Because the marketing channel could differ. So who wants to share where they think their users are and like their potential users are?
I think for mine, most users right now are mostly in X, because X seems like either creator or more developers allowed to get them from Twitter.
Yeah. And for like the trading product, maybe it's also like on, like Wall Street Bets or some Reddit or Discord about trading. And you have to like target those users and engage them. Because you should have like different approaches for those different channels, because maybe like the X user is different than the Discord user, because like it's more fast paced. So you should know where they are, how to target them on each platform, and have a different message depending on the audience. And then, of course, you should have further your plan. Like, it should always be in steps. So a good step before you actually like go to market is to have beta users, because those beta users will let you know a lot. All right, so you could build the user persona based off your beta users. So you actually notice this user persona likes our product more. They give you feedback. And for different products, it could be like a totally different go-to-market plan. Some things, like you can't really have beta users, so you need to do more testing. But some you need to have beta users because, they're going to give you that feedback. You're going to be able to tweak your messaging for all the marketing. And you really want to get out those bugs. So if you're like targeting, a broad audience, they don't have like the patience to deal with bugs, especially if they're like older people. They'll just like think the website doesn't work, and then you're kind of done. So you could release some teaser campaign materials, get the buzz up. So like a lot of people, they try to like bundle everything around like a launch date. So and that could be like really helpful. So for crypto, usually people announce like their fundraising with their launch, because a lot of people, or a lot of like media people, they care about the fundraising, and it's news. So if you raise 10 million from these people, it's news. And it also says like these people are like kind of validating our idea. You should check it out. And then of course you always want to monitor and analyze all this engagement. So you could use it as a feedback loop. If people aren't responding to this message, you send them this message. It's basic A/B testing, which huge thing in marketing. And then of course, these are kind of your KPIs, and when do you think you'll reach them? All right, so for Pump.Fun, so these like 2 streamers, it's called Bag Work. They've actually like, released a Drake song, and this is like from today, I think. They made it to the Rolling Stones. So, I mean, they launched only a few days ago, but the Pump.Fun team, like they noticed them, they were doing really well. So they invested in them because they're getting the word out. They actually have like a kind of derivative already based on them. So there's like a UK Bagwork team trying to replicate what they've done. I think it hit like over 50 million, which, and like the trading volume is also, yeah, pretty insane. It's down to like 20 million, but yeah, that's like the hype cycle. But for Pump.Fun, it means like the word is being spread. Like, of course, yeah, the Drake song, huge leak. Like even Drake said he was mad about it. Then like Aiden Ross was like calling Drake about it and then streaming that. And it's, yeah, kind of crazy the amount of like publicity this one thing has got. And then since then, they've like released more songs. They got flown out to like the big fight that happened on like Saturday and streamed on Netflix. So they're just like really investing in themselves. So like, and then people see this, and then like the streamers, like the people watching, they're like helping them out. They're like, oh, they're like, we can't find an Uber, and someone's like, my brother can take you or something. So yeah, really crazy the amount of like network effects, especially when people are like heavily incentivized, because like you want to spread the word, you want to pump your bag, you want to work for your bags. All right. So yeah, thank you. And yeah, of course I'll be around for questions, but if anyone wants to go through this with their startup, yeah, let me know.
So we have any questions?
I think you were talking about Discord.
Yeah?
But then for Discord is more of like a community. So how did you know, like X, you can just go and then make posts on X and people view. But then for Discord, it's like you're in a group. So how does Discord fit into?
So yeah, those groups, there's probably like some trading groups. And so if you have the trading platform, you want to say, hey, I've been using like this AI agent to help me trade. Because like those groups, they want to help each other. Where X is kind of like, hey, I'm telling you this. But with those, it's kind of more like a personal relationship. And that could be really great in the early stages because you're more likely to get feedback from that person that you're engaging one-on-one, where like X is just like people read the post and it's kind of like you have to like reply as a post. So people aren't going to put like, I have this dumb question. They'll try to like DM you, but then maybe your DMs aren't open. Where at Discord, they might be more open.
And the other thing is sometimes for Discord, it might look like a scam when someone
Yeah.
into your DM.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
So yeah, that's why like maybe you engage with them first in the like chat, and then it's good to have like a you don't have to like pay money to get them to do something. Also like your presentation of your website. Like you put a lot of faith in just the aesthetic of a website. You see something, you're like, you know, where sometimes you see it and you're like, all right, it's a good scam if it is one, you know. Also for like Pump.Fun and like other streaming platforms, sometimes I don't know if you're like familiar with like the vampire attack. It's where you use that existing platform. So like maybe these Kick streamers, they already have like a ton of users on Kick, but then they're like, hey, I'm going to go over to Pump.Fun, watch me there. And then like you kind of get your audience to, you know, translate to that new one.
Yeah, so you talked more about the market overview, and you said one thing, that nowadays everybody wants to be an influencer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with upcoming products, like I think most people do focus on hugely investing on the marketing aspect, where you find you get more influencers, have a logo, have your banners everywhere. But there's been a trend whereby, let's say within 1 or 2 months of marketing, your product it kind of looks like a good product, but after the marketing, like everything goes down after the launch.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, what is your perspective on the reliability on that kind of model of marketing? Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think it goes with like the messaging. And also like this kind of awareness. Of course you have broad awareness, and maybe people sign up. But does it like convert all the way down? Of course, there's drop off at every stage. So yeah, you could have a lot of drop off after the first weeks. But if your messaging really resonates with those users who come, they're more likely to convert. And then I would also say like people, yeah, maybe they overinvest in a specific message. And so of course the word gets out, but then it doesn't trickle down to like them converting. So that's why you should kind of A/B test the messaging before you like do the whole marketing, or you have kind of like a staggered marketing campaign where like, of course it's big, but then there's ongoing events. So, I mean, like they were lucky to have like this news come out because it's like, yeah, more news. You always kind of want to have like a kind of a drip drop with the news cycle. So like there's always a new reason, you're always engaging new users, and you're always educating new users about your platform or product.
So what keeps them going is on how you retain your customers based on the messaging that you give them.
Yeah, so yeah, one is retention, and then two is like just like further marketing to acquire new customers.
Question. I'm curious about your opinion on I think some few weeks back, there was that leak of all the calls, the crypto calls who are being paid and how much they
Oh, yeah.
pay to promote
Yeah.
various products in the space. And so that shows how even for companies, they're looking for people with a very big audience so that they can use them to promote their products. So for small startups who don't have that financial muscle to get people who are viral already in the space to sort of use their audience and the platforms to promote their products.
Yeah, so a lot of that type of like paid influencer marketing could backfire. So that's why, yeah, of course you have the big numbers, but then it drops off because you're like, this product sucked, this guy was obviously paid to promote it. So if you build a good product and you target the right users, then they'll spread the message for you. So that's what I mean like about the whole like virality of it. Like people talk about this like all day on Twitter. I don't know if it's just my feed reinforcing it, my belief, but they're really talking about it because they like the product, it's different, and it's really like tapped into this like specific user where it like makes sense. Like people want to invest into creators, but they didn't have a way before. And like if you think about it, what type of influencer would you want to invest in? Like someone who tweets once a day, or someone who's like really putting themselves out there, like streaming for a few hours a day, like streaming when they sleep, like yeah. So I think it's a great product market fit for them.
So just a follow-up question to her question.
Mm-hmm.
So which is the best strategy for upcoming early startups? Do you need to like hire these influencers, or you just have to focus on your just small outreach and try to help them advocate and kind of get more other people like them? Or
Yeah, so I would say like a lot of times people like you trade, instead of like paying influencers, you give people access. So if you're targeting the right people and then like, hey, would you like want to get in early, be a beta user, or I'll give you some discount, or you like get to see the product first, they really appreciate that. So like one product we invested in, going to invest in, it's called Upshot, and it's kind of like prediction markets with cards. And yeah, they've had like this beta campaign, and people are already tweeting about the beta campaign, and it's getting like more people to sign up for the beta, but they didn't pay anyone. Like, so first like they invited some friends, they get the early feedback because they're going to be like most receptive and like most willing to share. And then they're like, all right, they could see from the numbers, this is really cool. And they're also able to like iterate the product very fast because they see like how users are acting. So like data is like really important because when you think it's like, all right, our users are going to go to this place on our site, but you actually see it, they're actually all clicking on this other section, then you know like maybe you should message more about that other section of your site. All right. I saw you had a hand? Yeah.
Yes. How to correctly identify the user personas. So in the funnel that you mentioned, it has like awareness, consideration, conversion, and then loyalty. Sometimes I find myself in people in the consideration Slack, they are giving feedback and they want the product to go in a different direction. and
Mhm.
people in the convergence lab, they have like different requirements to even go to loyalty. So initially, I think for me, I would like to know how to correctly identify personas.
Yeah, so this one could be like pretty hard because, yeah, if you're not talking to like the right user, you could get the wrong feedback. And then you're building like your product in a completely different way. So along with like beta users, there's also, you could like have a design partner for your product. So a design partner is like, you kind of target a company. You're like, I believe this company would have this problem, maybe because I worked there before, and I saw the problem for myself. A lot of VCs, they love like, all right, what's the problem? You know, the problem statement is the first, like usually like the second slide. So like introduction, what's the problem? And then how are you gonna solve it? So it's really good if you have that insight already. And then if not, like you could go to like those companies or those users where you think it's a problem, and then you kind of get that feedback. So yeah, it could be like pretty, and then you should also have a kind of like, start with like the lowest common denominator, and then try to build an MVP for that. So you're getting this feedback. So like, there's like this example of like a minimal viable product. They're like, hey, would you like to use some like speech to text software? Okay, people are, yeah, I hate typing. But then, so they had like this minimal viable product. They're like, here, try this product. So it was actually like this guy, he's talking, but on the other end, is some guy just typing everything. And they found out that they actually didn't like this product, but they didn't spend months building it. So that's why it's really good to like try to have some feedback earlier on. And then like last week, that's why I asked like some of you, like, have you talked to anyone? Do you just think this is a problem? Or like, have you had it like validated by talking to users or like potential users? That's huge. Yeah.
Follow up. You mentioned a case when sometimes your expected users might be very different from the reality.
Yeah.
Can you share why that exactly might happen?
Yeah, so like for Nifty's, we thought it was going to be like this kind of like layperson who doesn't know about crypto. So we ended up building like this product that was like really focused on them. But then we shortly found out, like, that's why I said, like, you could use credit cards, you didn't have to make a wallet. But then, like, after we got, like, the first few waves, the users are like, we want this feature, we want this feature. And it was, like, the overwhelming majority. So that's why you have, like, the different personas. Maybe you think it's, like, 70, 30, this, that. But then it turns out it's actually, like, 10, 90. And then, so it's really important to listen to your users. That's why Amazon says we're a customer-centric business. They always are listening to their users and what they want, and then they reiterate and reiterate to like narrow it down and give their customers the best experience. So yeah, listening to your users. If you already have them, it's way easier to keep a user than to acquire a new one. And if you think that what they're asking for is makes sense, you should kind of like follow them. Like just listening. Like in relationships, it's always about listening. People tell you their problems, like your significant other, and all you have to do is listen, and then most of your problems will be solved if you just follow what they tell you to do. Oh, okay, a follow-up?
One last one. So in the awareness stage, is it important to first convey the vision and the problem that we're solving, or the minimum viable product and the features of it?
So I would say like, yeah, you might want to do the minimal viable product before you generate this huge awareness. Yeah, because this is, all like, you're starting to market, which means you already have the product. So if they come and then you don't even have like a minimal viable product for them to play around with, it's like they're going to forget about your product when they actually want it. Yeah. Oh.
Yes, so I wanted to ask, for a startup with a marketing team, how do you actually put all this into practice? So are there any specific documents you need to create or a questionnaire?
So I think I think founder-led marketing is actually like the most effective. And I think all over the world we have this kind of idealization of the founder. So like everybody knows it's like Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos. So when a founder is tweeting or like talking about them, like who gets invited to like do the talks? It's not like the marketing guy, it's the founder. And it shows that you care. Like you really care about this problem and you want to solve it. So you have to talk to your users. I think, yeah, the most effective teams are like smaller teams because maybe you really don't need like a full-time marketer at like an early stage. You just want like, I guess like someone really to handle the operations. You get outsourced a lot of the finance, and then like someone who's building. So it's just like maybe someone does operations, marketing, and kind of fundraising. That's usually like the CEO, and then the CTO is like handling all the dev work. So sometimes the CEO is also doing the dev work, and that could be good because it also tightens the loop of like listening to your users and then like iterating the product very fast.
Right. So if I'm understanding you correctly, before you go to market, you should at least launch an MVP, test with your beta users, better feedback, do all these stuff before you feel ready to launch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's always edge cases where like you don't want to reveal the business. You already have like huge amount of conviction and you just launch the product. That's always an edge case, but I would say for most people, you should have like an MVP, kind of test out your idea, gain that initial traction, especially because those users, when you launch, they're going to be like, yeah, I've been using it, it's sick. They're going to amplify your message. So maybe you don't really need that marketing person, maybe until like you reach a certain scale, because all right, what is that initial marketing? Maybe it's like a press release. I mean, you could write a press release, especially now with AI, and then just learn how to like develop. Also, like journalists, they love talking to the founder rather than like the PR person on your team. So developing those one-on-one relationships with journalists is, yeah, a huge plus. It increases the likelihood of you actually getting press, unless like that person that you've hired has a great network. But you could also just like hire a PR firm. But I would like advise against it because most PR firms they don't do that great. I mean, if you have your like the best interests of yourself at heart, so that's why like for a lot of founders, you really want them to be hungry because they're gonna do everything. So when I like look at a startup, I'm like, yo, this guy crazy. He doesn't sleep. He's working. Like whenever I message him, he replies. Like doesn't matter if it's day or night. I know this guy is gonna be like twice as likely to succeed as this other guy who's like slow, not that like involved, and not that sure about what he's building. I'd rather them be like a little naive, but like really motivated, and they're gonna do everything. If they see the problem, they're gonna try to tackle it first because usually you don't have the resources to hire someone to solve that problem. So also like the people who are like, I guess older, they usually, if you hire some like all-star, they usually want to hire a team and then they just delegate it out and kind of like a manager. So like small teams, usually younger or like just experienced enough, like they know what they're doing, they're very targeted, are the most effective than like larger teams who just like each person is doing one specific task. All right. No one else? Okay.
So there was a consideration part, which I have a very touchy question about. How do you counter approach users who kind of tell you like, you have better competitors, so why would how do you make sure that you retain your users compared to your better other competitors? Yeah.
Okay, so Pump.Fun, I don't know if anyone tried it this weekend. It sucked. Like, it's crashing all the time. But if you have these unique selling propositions and they're very strong, people are going to go. They'll put up with like all this bugginess if these points are very strong. So that's why like your differentiation in your product has to be strong enough to like beat competitors that are 10x, 100x your size.
So
and you have to message it.
It's
Yeah.
kind of better like to compare and show them the differences.
Yeah. I mean, like as a marketer, I would say like when you say, you don't really mention your competitor's name in your own marketing because like you're doing marketing for that other person, but you would say, we're Pump.Fun. We're the only platform with creator fees and with instant payouts.
I think, I think we can ask them, if you want, you can like bring your product and ask like really specific questions, and it's a good opportunity. Yeah, like you can maybe, is that okay for you?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
of course.
can maybe ask questions about like in the progress your program product, exactly like the thing that you meant, the problem that you need, and you can ask him like, how can I solve that?
Yeah, question. So normally when we're building products, right?
Mhm.
I would like to know, in terms of practically speaking, how do you draw a line between, let's say, really hyping the product as you're building the MVP? Let's say, we're building this is coming, and then finally, when you release the beta version, you get your users, and then they start coming in. Is it nice to do that, or do you first build the product and then when you have the MVP, that's when you do heavy marketing for it?
So you want to like de-risk as much. So that's why I say like, have you talked to people? First, you really want to know like, is there a need for this? And then they would say, yes, there's a need for this, and specifically in this area. And you're like, okay, that's what I was thinking too. And then like you do like MVP. Sometimes you can't like just release everything as an MVP, but you could just get feedback and then maybe do like, yeah, it's more developed than a MVP, but I think you can get the idea. So yeah, it depends, but yeah, you want to de-risk as much as possible at each step before you invest like a ton of money into it, because you could invest a ton of money into something, and then when you actually launch it, like no one likes it. Yeah.
Follow-up question to that. I was looked at, Tom Ford's most famous quote, and he said at that time when he was building the car, if he had asked people,
Yes.
he would have wanted faster horses.
Yes.
So I'm now
Yeah.
wondering, we're doing idea and product validation to people. How do they know they need,
Yeah.
they might say, okay, we don't want this until the product is live, and then like, oh wow, this is so nice, they actually need it.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like sometimes you have to be like, have a lot of conviction.
Okay.
Or like you put someone in a car and they're like, oh shit, this is dope.
Yeah.
Like it's a huge difference of like kind of getting people to imagine. So if it's kind of like this new paradigm where people can't imagine, like with the iPhone, like Steve Jobs, when he presented it to like his colleagues at Apple, they're like, what about the keyboard? He's like, dude, you don't, like, this is bigger. Like, you don't need the keyboard. That's the innovation. And like he like fired that guy on the spot. But so you have to have a lot of conviction. But also like if the keyboard like was really buggy or something, like maybe people were like, oh crap, yeah, maybe we should have had a keyboard. But like they invested a lot, and yeah, it turned out to be pretty smooth. So you didn't actually, need a physical keyboard. So I think like for those things, it's really about the conviction. If it's a new paradigm, it's also like it's hard to get people to imagine some things.
I wanted to share about the project that I was building.
Cool.
The last week I wasn't here, but I'm trying and share the same slides that I did the first week. How do I do this? Should I plug it in or?
Oh, all right. Or like, can you describe it as short as possible?
Yes. So, okay, a few months ago, and I was trying to purchase this book online that some of the people that I know and work with had written, and they are mainly US based, and so I was trying to purchase this book, and I tried about 3 or 4 credit cards, and it did not work. And later I realized that it was a geographical blocking. The reason was the the authors chose to publish that book with US copyrights and everything. And even the platform did not mention that, hey, you can't purchase this in India. They just blocked at the end of it if the source was India. So since I knew them, I was able to get in touch with them later and talk to them about what the publishing flow is. And they were like, hey, we can't yet go cross-border. But these are folks, the people that I work with and who wrote these books were like crypto native and are Web3 believers. So I was looking into projects, where you can publish a book and it's same interface how it is in be it Amazon or Kindle and everything, but you can purchase it with crypto and you're able to purchase that book regardless of where you are. And so this is the idea that I had, and for the UX flow of things and how it should look like, how the user experience for the author and the reader should be, I have an idea about that. But when I started digging a bit deep on who else is doing it, I found one close competitor and two other near of like solving the core of IP products or things like that. So this is the idea, and the close competitor has solved the problems. But when it comes to book publishing platforms, the main idea is the reason why authors go to the particular platform, like say Amazon or any other, is because of distribution. Amazon has a lot of users already, so even if they publish a new book, they can get more eyes on it. So my question, I don't really have a question, but this is where I'm at right now, so I'm trying to find where to pivot, what exactly to do. I would like to know your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so, I mean, for IP, yeah, there's like different laws in every country, so it's really hard to like pinpoint, but you have to understand that problem. And you should be an expert on this IP problem, so that when you talk to people, you're like, this is the actual problem, and then this is how we do it. Maybe it's, so I don't know if it'll work, but let me just like present an idea. So there's this other company that I spoke to. It's kind of like they want to build like toys and whatever, and like anybody can make the toy. So like anybody can make this book. But then they have like a network of manufacturers. Maybe it's like you have a network of publishers. Like, so in every country you have someone who could like make these books for you. But maybe there's like a threshold, because like it only makes sense if like 100 books are ordered, because like the cost per unit is too high, and so like you could pre-order the book, and then if it hits 100, then it'll be released in this country. So maybe like that could be like something. So it's kind of like a launch pad for books that maybe certain countries don't have access to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anybody want to grab the opportunities to ask him about your own products, the thing that launched you? And yeah.
Yeah, so I'm working on the DeFi product.
Mm-hmm.
However, US tends to have some clear jurisdiction or other restrictions. So the question is on the other product, the yield optimizer for DeFi.
Mm-hmm.
According to me, my target audience are agents and DeFi people who have assets in the DeFi world. But then there's usually this talk about, especially when Gensler was talking about how to categorize securities, so many things. So I'm not a lawyer or specialist. So
So that's like a legal question. I can't really give advice, but I would say, because you're building like a yield optimizer, you're not actually like the platform offering the yield.
Yeah.
So maybe for you, it's like, what platforms are you integrated with, and what are their rules? Do they allow US users? Maybe they do because like what they're doing is okay, or maybe they don't because it's not okay. Maybe they do, but it's not okay. So I think there's like a few like nuances that you have to look into. But yeah, I would try to get like some legal opinion on your product, and then maybe it's affected or like why or why not. Because I think for you it might be slightly different because you're just helping people find the yield. Yeah.
Also, you are talking about the distribution of pump uses Twitter mostly. So in terms of
Yeah, but they're getting press. So they have like I said, like other streamers, like Aiden Ross is like a really like top streamer in the US. He was talking about like these guys. So yeah, maybe you have like initial distribution is on X, but then if it's really good and it like hits like those specific notes, then it could like translate to getting into mainstream press. And then that's like another kind of like distribution platform is, now people are going to be like, oh, what's this thing? Yeah.
so if you create, you probably tease users with
What?
if you tease users with the future you plan of offering something like governance token and something like that, but you never do it anyways for a long time. I don't know if you're using Orbiter Finance.
Oh,
They tease people for
yeah, like
10
MetaMask.
years.
MetaMask
Yeah,
coin
now
coming.
still teasing
Then everybody like pays like whatever fee for the swap. Yeah.
It's also a good strategy.
I don't think that's a good strategy because you're gonna upset your users, and then now like they switch to Phantom, and like other like maybe people only use MetaMask because like like last week we talked about like the stickiness and like the switching cost. But it's quite actually easy to switch. You know, you could have the same seed phrase in different wallets. So in terms of that, it's like kind of low, but getting people to trust a new wallet may be hard. So like that brand recognition. So I think, don't do that because like you should invest in your product. Just make it really good. Don't tease users with something that you don't plan to have because you just upset them. And then like if they were only using it for that, then they're going to like really hate you. And then like you have these users that come like maybe they would have continued using the platform, but now they hate you for lying.
Okay, we have 7 minutes left, and we have so many questions. Maybe some questions from like the one.
Yeah, some new people.
New people. I'm gonna ask you in Chinese again. 所以有，就是有没有什么你可以问一下他，就是你们在产品中的现实的问题。比如说我怎么样获得第一批用户啊？我现在的情况是什么样？或者是我现在什么都没有啊？怎么？对，就非常现实的问题，可以问一下他，让他出谋划策一下。Okay, we have 7 minutes left.
Maybe I can ask you a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I'm like developing a project of my product, right? So you told about all these stages that how to launch my product. So what if like I'm working alone in that whole project and like so do you think is it possible to just do all those stages like alone as a solo founder, or and when do you think like I would need more people to continue like you know making the product like go at a higher level?
So yeah, I think you could, of course, like it's better to keep the team small because the feedback loops are just tighter when it's smaller. So if you had other people on your team, then you have to coordinate like this and that. But I think you could like for this MVP, you talk to all the people in this cohort and say, hey, would you use this? Like use it, I'll give you a discount. Then you have your smart contract audited, and then I think it's like once you have the product, of course, there's always like things to improve upon, but you might have more free time since like there's less to improve on than actually like building the whole platform out. So, and I think it's also about like being really targeted to who you talk to. So for you, maybe X is less effective with your time because you actually need to build an audience. Like you only have a few hundred followers right now. So like, are people going to hear about it? Or you go to all these incubators and then you just talk to them and say, hey, I could give you a deal for like all the people in your cohort to like use the product. That's why you should know like where is it most valuable to spend your time and to send your message out. So like X is great for some things, but sometimes like if it's more B2B, like maybe X isn't as great. Maybe it's better for like fast consumers because not everyone's building a B2B product or is interested in a B2B products. So
Well, maybe like going to physical events and talking about my product.
yeah, like going to the Token 2049, just go to every table. Hey, check this out. That's what I want to see. Like if I'm an investor, you asked me last week, oh, how do I enter those conversations? But if I see you talking to every booth, I know you have that drive, and you're gonna try to make it no matter how. Like sometimes you gotta like break through the wall.
Good. Okay. Anyone? So,
She had a question.
Thank you. Or you can ask. Maybe it's or no?
No, I wanted to pick your brain
Okay.
on our project. So,
Oh, okay.
remember when we pitched it at first,
Mhm.
we were targeting on our future market to be, the AI models.
Mhm.
Right? And then you gave us feedback that we should probably look forward to native AI models such as Nora. So I was just wanting to pick your brain on how to pivot. For example, if there
How to
was
what?
how is it pivot? For example, if there were three native companies like Nora, they decide, okay, we're not interested in this. So
If they say they're not interested?
yeah.
Oh. So that's what I mean. Like you want to talk to like who's the best user? Oh, they're saying they won't use us? That's like why? Why won't they use us? And that's like valuable feedback because like I said, you could spend all this money and then no one's actually using your product. But you could also like find out where people are coding, like if it's Claude, Cursor, and then find out like are these people in any groups? Like, so usually like Substack before was like more vibrant with coders and like people giving advice. So maybe you could find like people who are like asking like, oh, how do I deploy this smart contract? Or maybe it's like on Reddit or some other like coding community, and then see if they will use their product. But if you're getting like a lot of resistance, maybe it's like not the path you should go down.
Random question, unrelated. How do VCs think about copycat or clone projects, like direct competition with already existing? Maybe they're 3 years ahead or maybe 3 months ahead.
Yeah, so like for Pump.Fun, Kick and Twitch is like a decade ahead, you know?
Yeah.
So it really depends on like your unique selling proposition. Like, is it enough for people to switch? Because yes, the incumbents, they have like their market, but they might be entrenched in like a specific segment where it's like, maybe they're only targeting gamers. Maybe they're only doing this. So, I mean, I think it's easy for people to get we're the this for that, but I think it's better to have like a unique selling proposition where it's like, oh, this actually makes sense. Like for Pump.Fun, I feel like it's taken off because for a lot of people it just clicks like, wow, this is actually a way better idea than just like, getting people to send roses on TikTok and to like, and then those roses convert to cash or something. Like this is more direct. It's just very simple. I think people will get it. And then I don't think these other competitors would do this because X, Y.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you all for a lovely the session is closed and we still can grab him or steal him or block him from coming and show him your project. And he says, it is okay. Okay. Bye guys.
Thank you.
See you, thank you.
What do you think about on-chain gaming?
On-chain gaming? Yeah. So, why is it better?
So,
Because usually it adds a lot of friction. Like from my experience, it like adds a lot of friction. Like, yeah, why is it better?
what if you make it like pump and fun?